I'm pleased to bring in now our expert panel. Strategic Director for Concerns Veterans for America and Marine Corps and Army National Guard veteran John Byrnes with us today. And Steve Yates, National Security Senior Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former Deputy National Security Advisor. So where we're at is a situation where President Trump wants to have sort of a surprise. No one wants to no one's going to say the attacks are going to happen. But there's all these signs leading up to it, whether it be the USS Ford, the USS Lincoln. Steve, I'll start with you. I mean, where the Ford is, it's off the coast of Israel. And some are saying that could be pretty interesting because it could be more of a defensive. If we go into Iran and then they strike, this is, you know, the prized Navy asset, and the capacity for them to have to go over that means the U.S. has to be involved. What do you make of where our ships are strategically placed right now, Friday night?
Well, we have a lot of them, and we have a lot of supporting capabilities around each of these battle groups. And basically, I think what this is first and foremost maximum pressure. It helps stop some of the illicit flows that could fund Iran, so it keeps the economic pressure in place. It maximizes all of the different areas. So if we have Gulf allies who get cold feet and don't want to participate or allow us to use their territory, we have the ability to strike or defend from wherever we are. And maybe if Iran sees us being completely ready and our diplomatic posts beginning to evacuate to make room, then maybe they don't wait to get hit. But the last time we engaged in major operation, they did send missiles Israel's way. And it could be that we're preemptively trying to harden some of these areas in case Iran tries to strike in advance of America or someone else giving the go.
Yeah, well, we know Marco Rubio will be over in Israel. And John, some may look at that and say, well, why would we initiate something, especially with the potential we've been hearing? It could be more long and drawn out while Rubio, for example, is over in the Middle East.
Well, I think the important thing here is, as you said, Trump wants to have a negotiated settlement to this. He is absolutely putting maximum pressure on the Iranians. The ball now really lays in the Iranians' court. Right? They know what the pressure is. There's been some feedback that I've heard that perhaps the regime there thinks that they're in a better negotiating position after Americans strike first. There's talk that maybe the Iranians will provoke the Israelis into striking first. So it's a very complicated situation. Clearly, Trump wants a negotiated settlement. He has moved all of the military force that we can move in the time frame in that direction. So it clearly signals a serious threat. One thing about the Gerald Ford is in addition to that, it's been reported that quite a few refueling aircraft have been moved directly to Israel, which would mean that those Navy strike fighters would be able to transverse Israel and the airspace between Israel and Iran, over Iraq, just the way Israel has done for strike after strike after strike. It would really give them some legs to do that. So having Marco Rubio in Israel, it probably builds the confidence of the embassy staff there who are probably leaving. It signals that last chance of diplomacy. And I think it signals that America really wants to be close to Israel in this case.
Right. Interesting point there about the refueling. We also know that there were some satellite pictures of Saudi bases where the U.S. operates out, that they've also been beefed up with some infrastructure there. KLM is going to stop flights into Israel on Sunday. You've got France, UK, and Italy telling any residents in Tehran, get out. President Trump looking for diplomacy, but at the end of the day, I mean, he also said very clearly before he took off for Texas today, Stephen, they can never have a nuclear weapon. And a lot of Americans, I want to know if you have any answers to this question, is didn't we destroy their facilities? What happened between then and now that we may have learned? Because how could they be close to getting a nuclear weapon? Was there something with all those underground bases that were hit last year that maybe something was moved, something was missed, that we need to go in again?
Well, it's definitely a reasonable question given the narrative that we have received over several months. I don't know if the administration broadly has made it so declarative. The president, who from time to time will say things in somewhat black and white terms, may have stated it was completely gone. But of course, the entire knowledge base of how to do these things, and unfortunately, we're talking about 50-plus-year-old technologies. This is not the cutting edge unfortunately, it's very, very dangerous. And so it can be reconstituted. It's also very, very possible that there are bits and pieces, and we start to get intelligence that something's being reconstituted. But really, the ballistic missiles have always been a major, major challenge. And even if there's a small part of a program that could be married with those delivery systems, that's a significant threat. So there's any number of things that could be coming through intelligence that give a concern that would justify that kind of a hit.
Yeah. And, you know, here it is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're not being told for strategic reasons, classified, as you mentioned. So very valid there. I want to get your take on India's Prime Minister Modi. He's got a good relationship with President Trump. He was over in Israel yesterday as well. And, you know, he's quite a player in the region. He's been working on, of course, his line that he wants to go from India through the Middle East. And a lot of folks are looking at that. And obviously, it's coming up against the Belt and Road China initiative. So, John, walk us through how Modi is kind of a player in all of this and what he may be seeking diplomatically to be in Israel to get FaceTime with Netanyahu.
Well, I think, Prime Minister Modi faces a lot of challenges regionally and internally. He has Pakistan on his border. He has taken a very, pro-Hindu stance where he sees troubles with Islamist nations nearby. He is lacking the kind of relationship he had with Russia, who provided a lot of munitions and a lot of military technology to India over the years, but now is struggling with their own production and their own abilities to do that with the Ukraine war. So tying himself to Israel brings him a lot of benefits. Additionally, something that's gotten a little bit lost in today's news is that Afghanistan and Pakistan are potentially on the verge of conflict, and that's got to be really, really concerning to somebody like Prime Minister Modi. So
right.
He wants to connect himself to the wider world. He wants to be seen in a way that he is willing to play ball with those who can help him.
Yeah, you're right. We're tight on time, but the Pakistan defense minister declaring an open war with Afghanistan, it is a massive story, of course, in such a busy news cycle with what's happening here with potential strikes on Iran. It is getting a little bit lost, but does deserve to be looked at very closely, and I certainly appreciate you bringing that up. Great points, great analysis, as always. Steve Yates, John Byrnes, appreciate you both. Come back soon.